Alright people, this is my second time recording this audio because I wasn't happy with how the first one sounded because the mic screwed up, so I hope you appreciate that. And welcome to my presentation on some guns in a video game. Please be sure not to let it cause you to go and shoot multiple people in the real world, otherwise I'll have to become a cooking channel or something. Unless of course video games aren't to blame for the current atrocities in the news, in which case, feast your eyes today on what I consider to be the underrated guns for each class in Battlefield 1. Yep, I'm doing a nostalgia video. A lot of you enjoyed what I put together for the high skill guns of Battlefield 5, and many people have been crying out for some Battlefield 1 content, so this video seemed like a perfect marriage between the two. I hope you enjoy. If you do, I heavily encourage you to like and subscribe, otherwise I'm going to come round your house and pummel you with a spatula. Don't push me, I will do that. Now for the quick disclaimers, this is just for fun and entertainment. It's not serious, so if you freak out about something in the comments, be ready to be labelled as a salty Teletubby. Yes, I will also do that. Then this list is being put together from my memory of Battlefield 1, rather than going to refresh it before the video, because I figured it would be fun to dive into that game again on stream soon and discover things again with you guys coming along for the ride. Also, yes, the thumbnail does again look like one of Teabag Gaming's, as I acknowledged I had accidentally done in a previous video, but it seems to attract eyes and I want to be consistent, so I'm just going to link to his channel in the description of any video I do of this kind, as it seems to be only fair. And yes, we do know each other, we do get along, so everything's fine, don't worry. And finally, this is just my list with my opinions. I'm sure many of you would disagree and have your own list, and please leave them in the comments below. I'd be very interested to see what you guys feel are the underrated guns for each class in the game. Alright, let's open this with the Assault class, and my pick is the Machine and Pistola M1912/P.16 Experimental. Goddamn, why could they have not used a simpler name for it than the super official one, like they have done with so many other games in the series? Regardless, I remember super enjoying this gun when it came out, and I truly didn't use it anywhere near as much as I should have done. Partially because it was one of the later released weapons, I believe, and then Battlefield 5 came out, but this thing is an absolute slayer that barely anyone touches. I guess it could be because it does require a level of userability that some guns don't, like the Hellriegel is easier to use, the SMG is just a bit of a god gun and so on, so it's kinda hard for the Machine and Experimental to make its value known, especially as it just seems kinda weird to some, I imagine. It's a machine pistol that isn't really a machine pistol, as it only fires 1 or 2 rounds at a time, and it requires a solid trigger finger, good positioning, and a solid grip on closing distances or tapping people down at range. Plus it has that name which was never gonna catch on. There's also probably somewhat of an issue with a lot of players not taking to the Machine and Pistola Storm when it came out, because that came out first, as most prefer to use guns like the Automatico still. So the Experimental was viewed as a weird version of a gun that a lot of people already didn't want to use, and so it wasn't given much of a chance. And what a shame that is, because it's not only very good in the right hands, but it's a lot of fun as well, and a very different way to play the Assault class. I enjoy guns that give you a different feeling when playing the game, and the Machine and Experimental certainly does that. It gets a big thumbs up from me, and with a bit of practice, I think many of you will be surprised just how good this weird little machine pistol actually is. And so that's my pick for the underrated weapon of the Assault class. Next up, the Medic class, and I'm selecting the M1917 SL Factory, or really the Trench, whichever you prefer to be honest. I just had better footage of the factory, so I'm using it. But either way, the point is, I'm picking the SL Factory or the Trench because they aren't the Sweeper. So many people used and maybe still use the SL Sweeper because of its automatic fire. And while that adds ease of use in that regard, one less thing to think about, it's just a worse gun overall than the other two options in a lot of ways. It really is. And all the while, the Factory and the Trench have been overlooked when they can be pretty damn good. Now I don't think they're necessarily top tier, or at least they aren't challenging for the title of the best medic gun in the game, but they do a lot well, and unfortunately many simply aren't aware of it due to the prevalence of the Sweeper instead. If you have a faster trigger finger, then the Factory and the Trench are absolutely a better option than the Sweeper. I'm talking superior recoil decrease, better hip fire and all that kind of stuff, depending upon if you go for the Factory or the Trench. Now realistically, if I'm being honest, for most people the Trench will actually be a better option than the Factory, purely because of the archetype of the weapon and the playstyle that most suits it. That superior hip fire can come in clutch. But for me, the Factory just has a really nice balance to it. It does a lot of things really solidly and just seems to produce good results for me. And so either way, the M1917 SL Factory or Trench are often undeservingly overlooked, just because the Sweeper variant has full auto. And that's a real shame considering what they're both capable of. And so that's my pick for the underrated weapon of the Medic class. Next up, onto the Support class, and I'm picking the Show Telescopic, or however you pronounce it. I've always struggled with that one. I'm honestly just going to call it the Shellshat. I know that's absolutely wrong, but I'm so used to saying it, and I know I'll just accidentally pronounce it wrong at some point anyway. So let's just accept that I'm going to pronounce it totally wrong in this video and move on. Now, this was a super easy choice for me, and I remember it well. I also seem to remember it's often accounted for maybe like 1 or I think 2% of LNG playtime in the game, and that's a travesty because this thing is an absolute animal, capable of taking people down at mid to long range with incredible ease, whilst also still allowing you to hit 5 people at close range, it seems. Something I was and still am very surprised about. I don't know if I just consistently got lucky or something, but I think the footage speaks for itself. Now, of course, the Shellshat low weight wasn't underrated at all. Many people have used that variant, and it's well documented just how strong it is. But the telescopic always seemed to be overlooked, with the strengths of the low weight taking precedent and the scope on the telescopic seemingly being viewed as surplus to requirements. But Battlefield 5 has shown just how valuable a scope can be. Sure, BF1 has spotting, meaning a scope isn't a near requirement for actually seeing enemies, but it still maintains many advantages that weren't appreciated in this game. I've actually been preaching this for a long time now. A low or mid-range scope allows me to still challenge people at close range without issue, but also provides me with better capabilities when it comes to checking areas, scouting longer sightlines, and just out and out landing damage in engagements outside of closer quarters. You're only looking at a slowish rate of fire, making for pretty easy recoil control for the tempo of landing your shots. It also has higher bullet damage to balance out that lower rate of fire, and a bipod for incredible stability, and just honestly, it's so damn good overall. I still think the low weight will be a better option for most players, as it does have superior stats in a lot of categories, but some of you will really connect with the telescopic if you give it a fair chance. Try embracing using a suitable scope and destroy your enemies at all ranges with eye-opening consistency. And so that's my pick for the underrated weapon of the support class. Next up, we have the scout class, and I've gone for the Martini Sniper. Now, I'm taking a bit of a liberty here. This pick isn't for the same reasons as the other weapons on the list. They were chosen due to their potency being underrated. But on this occasion, I've chosen the Martini Sniper because its fun factor is underrated. No, you don't generally need a scope for where the Martini excels. No, it's not a good option for longer range scout play. No, it almost doesn't make any sense at all how this weapon is constructed. But I don't care, because it's so much fun to use. It's got that iconic power of the Martini infantry, but also the classic sniper feel from that scope. An absolutely dreamy combination. I'm probably not going to say anything like that ever again, but I'm going to leave it in. It's almost a troll weapon really, or something to use as a challenge, but I really do urge you to give it a chance if you haven't for some time. Picking up kills with this gun is one of the most satisfying feelings in BF1 for me. You can also use it as great practice for overall scope sniping play. At close range, you can be super aggressive and know you're likely to pick up a one-shot kill due to the sweet spot of the Martini, meaning you aren't going to be punished for pushing yourself to try something difficult there. But at the same time, it also forces you to go for headshots at mid to long range much more often. You'll have to deal with slower bullet velocity and all that kind of stuff. So not only is it challenging, but it can make using conventional snipers feel a lot easier afterwards. Your skills increase, you pick up some sweet kills, and all whilst having a great time. Give the Martini Sniper a go. It's just simply fun, and that's why I've selected it as the underrated weapon of the Scout class. And so, that's my list for the underrated weapons in each class in Battlefield 1. Now I pass things to you. First off, what's your list? Be sure to share it with all of us in the comments below, but also, I want to know what other lists you'd like to see from me. I'm already planning to do the easy mode guns for every class in both Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. I could do the high skill weapons of every class in Battlefield 1 like I did for Battlefield 5, but what else would you be interested in? This is a fun style of video for me to do, so I'd be down to do a fair few of them. So get your ideas to me and I'll see what I think can work. And so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it takes next to no effort to turn on notifications to ensure YouTube doesn't just not inform you when new videos come out from me, because subscriptions are kind of busted now. But it would obviously also be sweet if you'd like, subscribe, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply, and of course, often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. Oh, and also, just as an afterthought, thank you to everyone that's come and followed me on Twitch so far. I have ordered the final things I need. The stream is coming. Yes, it's gonna happen. I'm super excited. Super excited for all the games I'm gonna play. Super excited to do stuff with you guys and chat with you and just show you new games and enjoy myself and make videos out of it and all that good stuff. And yes, that means I'm gonna be on camera in the videos because I'm gonna do the green screen, the face cam, and just, if you haven't joined yet, link in the description to the Twitch page. Thank you very much. Follow me there. All right, I'm gonna go again. You guys are awesome. See you later. Alligator. I was lame. See you in a bit.